This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Hey, Happy New Year and greetings from Halas Hall Report. With me right now, I have, of course, my cohort who has no opinion about everything or
Cohort.
anything.
I got you.
Cohort, my partner in crime.
Oh, I thought you said cohort.
No.
My bad.
Oh, no, we don't do that game. No.
All right. Nah,
We,
I don't care.
we leave that to Packer fans.
Oh, boy.
How was your New Year's?
Just chilling. Watched a movie. Oh, I watched the Devils game first and watched a movie and went to bed at 12:30.
You must be getting old.
Mm.
12:30. I think I went to bed at like 2 or 3.
All the
That's
wackos are on the road, so I thought I'd, stay home. But I wanted to say first, prayers to all the families down in New Orleans. The incident happened. If you guys anybody doesn't know, go on the news. But that was sad.
Yeah, I didn't hear about it last night because I didn't watch any TV at all. And then I looked on X before I went to bed. I was like, what terrorist attack?
Yeah.
And then I started reading about X. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I guess today's bowl game down there got pushed
Yep.
because of it as well. So, like Nola needed something else to happen, or the country needed something else to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. Kind of puts a football in perspective when stuff like that happens.
Well, that means if the Saints, it's like Katrina, if the Saints were in the playoffs, they might have won the Super Bowl then, because it happened in New Orleans. But anyway, prayers out to all the families that were involved.
Exactly. Well, we know we're not going to the Super Bowl.
Huh. We might go watch. I'll be watching it probably. Yeah.
Well, they offered me tickets last year, but I told you about that, right? It was like $3,500 or $2,500 a person to reserve your seat, and that didn't even say what section you're in. It was a $2,500 deposit per person to secure a ticket to the Super Bowl. Because remember, Devin and I went to the Bears Saints game that last season, and so we were looking at $7,500 for 3 tickets. We were like, yeah, that's okay.
Oh, geez, that sounds like maybe tailgating. That's just me. If I don't get free tickets, it has to be free tickets if the Bears aren't going to the Super or not in the Super Bowl. They'll go watch 2 other teams. I'm not paying for anybody else.
No. So the playoff picture will get resolved this weekend. The AFC on Saturday, the NFC on Sunday, culminating in the NFC North Championship game. We'll just call it what it is. On Sunday Night Football, that should be a lot of fun to watch. We get the Packers at noon on Sunday. I don't know. I mean, for them, they can't really change the seed position. They don't give a shit about the streak. They do.
I know what you're gonna say, but
I mean, like, if we get to win on this game, they could care less. If we get to win, the only good thing I can say about it is, okay, we get a victory so that there's no 12-game win streak by them anymore. It stops. The losing streak for the season stops. The losing streak on the road stops. So, okay, we get to end on a little bit of a high note. Draft-wise, we go from 9 to maybe, at worst, 12 or 13. I don't know how big of a difference that would make in our draft. And we'd probably win because they would, rest guys in the second half and, be starters against backups kind of thing.
I think they're going to play tough because it's Chicago. Uh, uh, I don't the way the Bears are playing and stuff like that. I mean, Alexander's out for the year. He's getting season-ending surgery, but I just don't see them sitting players. Even though they're playing the following week, I know when Aaron Rodgers was there and they had their seating set up and stuff like that for the playoffs, he'd play. That whole team would play.
I mean, I think they're going to play, but I know Ken, the Packer fan, and Packer backer Rob, they were both like, "Look, we don't care. Sit him the second half. Like, play him the first half, get some reps, build up a sweat, and then don't risk an injury to the Bears. And if we lose, who cares?" That even John Dorn was like that. Like, really? So the diehard Packer fans are even like, "Whatever. We got playoff games to win." I'm like, I get it. I could, for us, I don't think we could care. Well, look at if we win, we'd like to win. We're fans. We like to see our team win. But on the other side, it's like, well, at this point, if we lose another game, who cares?
Yeah, I know. I think they're going to play the whole game. That's how LaFleur is. But we'll see Sunday.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I had some thoughts based on our conversation last week about the kicker situation with Santos. I posted a post on X, got quite a bit of feedback from people. There are a few people like, look, at Soldier Field, it doesn't make a difference. Only 3 people have attempted a kick over 55 over the last couple of years, and 1 made it, and the other 2 missed. Okay. But you still got road games to deal with. A lot of fans like, look, he's consistent, he's accurate, retain him. And then you've got the other half that says, yeah, but you need to be able to kick it from 60, 65. So we have a few options, Woody. We have a few options I want to run through with you. I'll give you this first option. No, I'm going to save him for last. The first option I'm going to give you is from my favorite team. And that's if we had Thomas Mueller, if he retired from Bayern Munich. Maybe he'd come to the U.S. and kick field goals. Because, the trend is to get a soccer player. So why not get one of the best soccer players in the world? We could maybe see if we can get him over here. One that's already in the United States and maybe may retire in the next year or 2 from the MLS. We could try to sign Lionel Messi. That's always a possibility. Sarah, from our Vikings friend, this one's her favorite. She says that his wife is just an obstacle in her way that can be removed, and that's if we got Cristiano Ronaldo.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, and of course he's got the biggest Twitter following on the face of the planet. I think. Elon Musk is bigger, but he's got more than Taylor Swift. And then my favorite, which we've actually started on X trying to recruit him, would be Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Just his press conferences alone would be worth having him on the team. For those who don't know about Zlatan, who's very, very full of himself in a good way, when he came to LA Galaxy, he took out a full-page ad in the LA papers and said, "You're welcome. I'm here." I mean, this is the guy, though, who goes off after LeBron James in media, and still to this day, like, he'll be sitting there in Italy where he's with Milan, and ask him a question, he'll rip on LeBron James from Italy. So just his press conferences would be worth it, especially if they can kick it from 60, 65 yards out. So those are a few options we kind of drummed up, Woody. I don't know if any of these guys would be financially available to us. I mean, Ronaldo his contract with Al Nassr is like $200 million a year.
U.S. dollars.
Yeah. Messi is getting he got part ownership in Apple TV. He got part of the MLS. He's getting part ownership of Miami, and he's making 50, 60, 70 mil a year. This is your cheapest option, and he's also he's probably had fun with it, but he's probably more expensive than anyone on the Bears roster. So Zlatan being retired from international football, from soccer, could be the best option. And like I said, his press conferences would be a riot.
And how old are these guys?
Zlatan's in his 30s. They're all in their 30s. But for field goal kickers, we know that doesn't matter as much.
No.
So those are some options we put together, Woody. I don't know. Like I said, Sarah was like, "No, we can't have Ronaldo. He's got to go to Minnesota because that's her baby's daddy. He just doesn't know it yet."
Oh my God.
Yeah, she went pretty hardcore in the morning show when we brought these up the other day. But I mean, the Bears got to do something. I agree with a lot of the fan base that says, "Look, keep Santos. He's accurate." But I wouldn't mind them. I don't want to draft anyone. Don't get me, at all. But bring in some free agents to push Santos, and if you can get better, you get better. I guess it doesn't hurt to look.
Was there ever any soccer kickers in the league that just played purely soccer?
Yeah,
not football.
Yeah, the kid in Dallas.
What,
He was
Aubrey?
an MLS play. He got drafted in MLS Super Draft. Spent 2 years in MLS. Then went to the XFL. Was the first time he ever kicked a football. Was in the XFL, and was there 1 season, and then he signed a contract with the Cowboys.
So the trend might be coming.
Yeah. Look at MLS players who maybe didn't make it, were drafted a year or two ago, for whatever reason aren't making it and leave MLS. They may be looking to come to the NFL. I mean, look, we've had Mia Hamm out there kicking. I'm sure Julie Ertz has kicked a few field goals in Washington. Out there in the practice field with her husband.
I'd say Alex Morgan's. Let's get her in there, try her out.
Yeah,
I'm sure Hope Solo is not doing anything, but she was a goalie.
She's not. And Hope would have no problem tackling a dude either.
Oh, that's the other thing too. They got to be a little bit tackle worthy, but I never seen Aubrey have to make a tackle. So
no, but I mean, Hope. I watched a documentary on her. She did on Netflix earlier in the year. She could probably still do it. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting. So I don't know about the kicker thing. I'm waiting to see, but I kind of want the Bears to bring people in the camp. I want Santos to try to gain some range in the off season. Week 2, man. The difference in week 2. Their field goal kicker in Houston can kick 55, whereas we have to punt.
Yeah, that record, I think, I was like 2 weeks ago. Fairbairn made 12 field goals over 50 this year. 12. I don't even think Santos had that many tries.
No.
Past 50. So that tells you that there's no trust in our kicker, or they know he's not, strong enough. He doesn't have a strong enough leg.
So here's the 2024 field goal stats for Cairo. 20 field goals. He's 20 of 24, so he's got an 83.3% completion percentage. His long is a 54. He's made 22 of 23 extra points, so that's at 95.7%. He's 83.3% field goal percentage this season, is the lowest of his current tenure with the Bears, and over his entire time in Chicago, including 2017, he's gone 20 for 27 of kicks of 50-plus yards, so 74% from 50-plus.
Could be worse.
Could be a lot worse. That's why I get I don't want to spend a draft pick, but I want the Bears to do something. Bring in some guys, some big legs, push them, make them earn it. I mean, if we cut him post June 1st, we save $3 million. Not that that's the consideration as to why, but that's just an extra piece. If we find someone better than him, we can, sign that guy for $1.5 million. That's like, for first timer, and save some money. So there's that. Quarterback comparison, which I know you wanted to get into today.
Oh yeah.
Let me bring it up and I'll let you talk it.
Well, after this season's over, off season, my show, Woody is Right, will be starting. It's not like, a lot of people, like Caleb Williams, #1 pick, blah, blah, blah. But again, I go back to their conferences that they play in. SEC is the toughest in the nation, college football. I wanted Jaden Daniels from day one. I did not want Caleb Williams, as everybody knows. Did turn me off saying, I know what I'm worth. But Rome didn't sign right away either. But just the comparison between these three, Caleb Williams is number 3, really. Jaden Daniels, remarkable numbers. Look at that passer rating for a rookie, is unbelievable. A 101.2. Okay. Now, the only thing that he was higher than Caleb was the interceptions, but I'm looking at the personnel on their team. And yes, it's not all the offensive line, I don't believe. Jaden Daniels had Scary Terry, Zach Ertz, not really much compared to our firepower on our offense. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, Dunze in the draft, and even Bo Nix. And I look at the bottom as well as the game's won. So I believe we lost the draft. People say, well, wait. I've been waiting since fucking Justin Fields got drafted. I'm still waiting.
They do say it takes 3 years to grade, and I get where you're coming from on that. But couldn't some of what we're seeing on the screen here be, coaching driven as well, though?
I mean, Washington, new coach Quinn.
Yeah, but their offense obviously moves the ball a lot better with their play design and the other things they're doing, because we've got better talent around Caleb, yet we don't run the ball as well. We don't pass the ball as well because we're not getting, receivers open. We don't call the right plays at the right time. We do, -3 yard throw to DJ and hope he runs type of stuff, whereas they don't necessarily, what I'm saying? So some of it you could say is coaching.
But then you look at because I know Caleb Williams is the most sacked in the league. But if you looked at those numbers, yards lost, interesting. And the rushing touchdowns, Caleb has none, and Jaden has 6. And we know that's not all design runs from Jaden Daniels. So
right, but we also know that sounds like from when Shane Waldron was there, they didn't want him to run at all. And then once we fired Waldron, he was a completely different quarterback. We all saw it.
Yeah, so I don't know if they, changed the playbook a little bit up, around and stuff like that. More design runs for Caleb, blah, blah, blah. There was, some good yardage from the Caleb design runs, but I think we lost the draft. I mean, 3 years, but we waited for Justin Fields, and I'm just thinking in the back of my head, what would Justin Fields do with this team? We'll never know.
We'll never know, and I don't know if they'd be any better or not based off of what we saw in the offense and the coaching this year overall. I mean, that's that weird intangible piece, because weaponry. I mean, look, I guess with this graphic, we might have to add Penix in it and track. These guys are going to be linked for the next 3, 4, 10 years, however long they're all in the league. I mean, Penix is going to have to come to that conversation now, because look how Penix played last week against Washington. But then, like, you look at the game that we just had with Seattle, and he threw the dart on the move for that touchdown, and then it gets taken away.
That holding call was terrible,
right? But we've seen a couple touchdown passes get called back from him this year, game altering stuff. So situationally speaking, I'd say his situation, while he has better weapons, has been situationally worse than a guy coached by one of the best coaches in the NFL over the last decade, and a better situation coach-wise, OC-wise in Washington versus what we had here. I think that's the other reason why 1 year snap judgment might not cut it. I see the argument, though. I can see. I don't disagree with you on if this was the argument, I wouldn't disagree with the word you said. based on just raw numbers. I
Yeah.
agree with you on that, but I think the situation might be different. So I don't know if I say we lost it if we lost the draft just yet.
But my show is coming up off season.
Yeah, the Woody was right podcast. So it is an interesting argument, though. I mean, and that brings us like I know Mike has a bunch of slides. I won't get into them right now. Hopefully he'll get here in a minute. We can talk about coaching. I want to bring up something to you that was brought up this morning by Joe. Joe said he would want to see Pete Carroll in Chicago and thinks Pete Carroll would be the best fit for the Bears because of the structure he brings and his ability to take the load off of Caleb, because he referred back to when Russ got there. Russ didn't have to throw the ball, but he's like throw it 15 times a day, run a lot, have an elite defense, which the Bears do, or can have, or are close to having. Like he talked about the Legion of Boom. He said, well, if your back end is what's strong, invest in another corner and another safety, make it elite, make your secondary elite, and take a lot of pressure off Caleb. And he was arguing Pete Carroll is the guy for the job in Chicago.
Oh boy.
So what do you think? What do you say about that?
Listen, Pete Carroll's a great coach when he was in the NFL. I think he's probably one of the very few college coaches that worked out.
He's one of 4 coaches to have ever won an NCAA championship and an NFL championship.
Yep, and I want a coach that's going to be long tenured. He's 73 years old.
70. He's going to be 73 shortly if he's not already yet.
That's the only argument I have. I want a long-term try to get a long-term coach if we're going to keep these players on that, because how many coaches, Jesus Christ, how many coaches these players have gone through. This organization's probably just tired of hiring coaches, but that would be the only argument I have, is I want a long tenured
what if he
coach.
Brought an OC and a DC where one of them would be mentored to be the heir apparent for when he does retire?
Who, Waldron?
Yeah. No, but look at Drabel could be available. Saleh could be a DC for him. Saleh could very well be his DC if we hire him. Drabel might get fired. He might be available as an OC. McDaniels could get fired in Miami. He could become available as an OC. There are some possibilities out there. So what if you figure you're going to get maybe 3 to 5 out of Carroll, maybe 7 if he's going to go to 80, right? So what if he brought the heir apparent with him? Would that change the argument for you at all?
I don't think so. I don't. Yeah, it doesn't change for me. It's just 7 years. That's an 80-year-old coach.
Well, how old is our favorite ex Bears defensive coordinator who's now with the Sheagles? Was he 82?
Vic Fangio.
Fangio's old as dirt, isn't he?
Let me see.
I think he's got to be up there.
But he can sit up in the press box and call plays.
The other thing about Carroll is
he's only 66 years old.
Wow. He doesn't look it. Carroll looks younger than him.
Yeah.
And the thing about Carroll is that he said he wants to be in Chicago, that this is a coaching opportunity he would want to come back for. There are some other interesting names that kind of pop surface. It's funny that one we started here is now starting to surface in national media, and that's Gruden, who was in Chicago and has been confirmed he's in Chicago by his own voice on Barstool. So Gruden is a possibility. Rex Ryan wants to coach again, but the Jets are talking to him. Go figure that one. A guy who we thought was done coaching but is now taking interviews is Ron Rivera. So there's some. Vrabel is talking to the Bears or preparing to talk to the Bears because his contract ends with the Cleveland on Saturday.
Yep.
So there's some interesting, and then there's Ben Johnson, and I don't even know if we get. Look, I'm warming up to Ben Johnson as an idea a little bit more lately. I don't even know if we interview Ben Johnson at this point.
I would at least interview him, but I don't. Do you really see him in a rival team?
So here's the thing: when I look at all the names we've mentioned, right? Ron Rivera can bring structure to your team. Gruden can bring structure to your team. Vrabel can bring structure to your team. Um, Carroll definitely can bring structure to your team. If Stefanski gets fired, he can bring structure to your team. Ben Johnson, well, he's got a great playbook, and look at Amron St. Brown was selling the crap load out of him on Monday night, talking about how awesome he is. That's great. The offense loves him, but can he bring structure to the entire team? Out of all those guys, he's the only one that we don't know about. Can he bring structure to a team? And when you look at the vacancies that are out there and the guys who are available, really, Ben Johnson could be the only active coordinator who gets a head coaching gig next year. Because there's a lot of really good former head coaches out there that are proven either they've won coach of the year, they've won Super Bowls, they've had deep runs with tons of playoff appearances, winning records, blah, 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 blah. And then there's Ben Johnson, who's been a phenomenal OC. He's the hot topic. He decided to go back to probably the smart move last year to go back to Detroit, claiming the unfinished business. That was probably a smart move. But I don't know. He might be the only coordinator to get a head coaching gig this year based off everyone else who's in the field.
Either that
And
or Joe Brady of Buffalo.
I think Joe Brady doesn't leave Buffalo at this point with the people that are out there. It's either going to be Brady or Johnson. We'll get it
Yeah,
done.
we don't know how these coaches are thinking, if they want to stay there to,
Right.
win a Super Bowl, or if they're going to win a Super Bowl, leave. We don't know what they're thinking, because obviously we can't interview them because that would be tampering.
But right. Well, it also depends though on with these established coaches like Vrabel and Carroll and Gruden, they might be snapping up all the jobs. I mean, you're going to tell me some guy's going to hire Ben Johnson over Stefanski if Stefanski hits the open market? Probably not.
And
So
I don't think the Bears will just hire Vrabel and interview Vrabel and that's it.
no, I think they're going to interview
Yeah.
I think Foles and Warren are going to interview probably at minimum Vrabel, Gruden if he'll take an interview, Ben Johnson if they can get the interview during the playoff run. They're going to talk to Carroll. They're going to and then we'll see what happens on Black Monday, right?
Yep.
Peterson, they'd probably talk to Peterson, who's won a Super Bowl. They're probably going to talk. If McDaniels gets fired in Miami, they'll definitely talk to him.
Hopefully for a coordinator.
McDaniels, I would almost take him as a head coach though too. I mean,
Oh my goodness.
the problem
He ruined
Miami.
two fucking teams.
Well, you know what the problem with him in Miami's been? They run specifically on how. Well, they don't have an answer if Tua's not in the game. Period. And Tua, while they spent the money to keep him, and he is good, cost them games too. A lot of games have ended on a Tua interception, and that's not necessarily McDaniel's fault per se. Players love him, fans love him, ownership seems to love him everywhere he goes. If he does get let go, that would be interesting. I mean, so Black Monday could be an interesting day for the league and who's let go, and it's going to be the Bears are probably the number one destination for anyone looking for a job because of
Yeah, and all these rumors about all these coaches. Jesus Christ, I've seen 10. Anybody that needs a head coach, and all these coaches that want to come back into the coach in the league and stuff like that, they're going to be like, I want this job. The rumors are just, we don't know what's real.
Oh, every day there's a new Ben Johnson rumor.
Yeah, Vrabel is probably the most realist one right now.
Yeah. Well, I'd say the realest two are Vrabel and Carroll, because Carroll's already expressed interest, and the Bears have expressed interest in talking to him, and the same has gone on with Vrabel and the Bears. Those two we know are legit. Now, supposedly Johnson, after he gave his edict about being married to the GM and select, and he's only going to interview if he thinks that you're really going to hire him and all that other stuff. Then we hear, oh, he wants the Bears job, but then you hear another report, oh, he doesn't want. I don't know what to believe on Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
The
Do you really think Ben Johnson, with all these rumors and stuff, is going to come out and say, well, yeah, I want to coach the Bears. I want to get interviewed for the Bears next year, Mr. Campbell. What do you think of that? They ain't fucking saying that. They're not saying that. So we don't know. We don't know.
So I don't know if we'll. I think the bulk of the interviews will be done before the Super Bowl, and within a week of the Super Bowl be played, we'll hire a coach.
Yeah. So we'll probably after the Super Bowl, we'll know. Depends what teams are in there, and they have the coaches available. Like, say if Buffalo plays Detroit in the Super Bowl, well, there goes Ben Johnson. We can't interview him yet, or Brady.
Well, no,
in the Super Bowl.
we could interview Ben Johnson if Detroit allows it. So basically, there's two windows of opportunity. Basically, I would realistically say to interview Ben Johnson. If they win on Sunday night and get the bye, then you could probably interview him next week.
And that wouldn't be tampering.
No, because you get, so if they're still active, i.e. their team's in the playoff, the Bears would then have to ask the Detroit Lions for permission to talk to them to fill the head coaching vacancy. Detroit would have the option of saying, no, you can't talk to them.
And which team would say fucking yes?
Most teams do. It's very rare. It happens. It does happen where they say no. But then even if they do say yes, okay, then there's rules to that. It can only be a 2-hour video conference, like a Zoom call meeting, Teams meeting, something like that. They get like a 2-hour video con call for an interview with them, and that's it. So it's not like where Vrabel is going to be able to come to Halas and spend the day, and they can ask him a bajillion questions about everything under the sun. If they ask for permission to talk to Ben Johnson and they're granted it, they get a 2-hour Zoom call with him, and that's it.
No, no dinner date or anything?
No dinner date or nothing. Now, the Lions could always say no to the Bears, but then allow him to talk to other teams. And that stuff like that does happen. It's rare, but it does happen. It happened last year when someone asked, who was it last year, got asked, and the team said no. And really, that hurts. And teams don't tend to do that because they know at some point they're going to be looking for a head coach, and they might want to talk to your coordinator. So they want, fair turnaround. It's the business side of it more than the personal side of it. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions said no to the Bears and allowed Ben Johnson to talk to other people.
And I wanted to bring this up. Where the fuck is everybody? Where's the comments at? Let's go.
Yeah, I know. I'm not seeing them today.
Bring it in.
I thought maybe
Bring it in.
We've got a bunch of people. Look, if you're on X, you can comment. They come through X. We see Viking Rob all the time, and I comment on X on the Viking show. But I don't know. This head coaching thing, though, I would say no later than a week after the Super Bowl is played, we'll hire a coach because all the prep work that has to go in the free agency and the draft with that coach is huge. And if they're going to fire Poles, and there are people like Mike, Bear fan Mike, who want Poles gone, that's got to happen Monday. If it's going to happen at all, it'll happen on Monday, and they'll have a new GM within a week.
Yeah, because that has to happen after Super Bowl because of free agency in March. You want that coach at least involved.
If you fire your GM on Monday, you want a new one within a week or two because you've got free agency
or a coach, like after a week after Super Bowl, like you're saying, because of free agency in March.
Right.
That coach wants to be involved too, probably.
Right. Exactly. For free agency, because for instance, if you hire Carroll, he may want a certain type of offensive lineman versus another type of offensive lineman that John Gruden might want. Or if you get a defensive-minded coach like Vrabel, he may want like a Young, sign Young away from as an edge rusher, or he may want a Judon type of guy, or a different type of safety or corner. But he runs the same base defense we run now, but he might be looking for a certain type of personnel that we don't currently have on a team to augment what we've got now. Because that's the other thing. Whoever we hire now, it's like, dude, you don't got a year or two to strip it down and rebuild it. You've got the weapons. We expect you to produce year one. That's going to be the expectation of anyone who coaches in Chicago. You're going to be expected to produce a winning season year one, period. Because what you have on this team, because the offensive line is not terrible. And there's one graphic Mike did do. I'll bring it up.
Well, Ken, just to tell you something, that the
Yeah.
comments section is not working because I just commented it did not show up.
All right. Well, let me remove it from that overlay. Just do that. Then if they're not working, I don't know why they're not working. Well, I know why. It's Restream. We may be moving away from Restream. Let me just
Yeah, we might be going back to yep, gotcha.
let
StreamYard.
me bring this up to you, Woody. What do you think? These guys are all free agents. Who on this list would you re-sign? Who would you let walk?
You know what? I was thinking about it. I don't think we re-sign Jenkins. That's just me. I mean, 10 games. He's injured prone every year. I know he's a hell of a blocker and top in the PFF when he's healthy.
He's 1.5, 1.7 mil this year. What if you can get him between 2 to 3 mil a year?
Me be an asshole, I'd be fucking saying bye so I can put that money towards somebody else.
That would be depth. When he at minimum offer you depth if you got a new left guard.
Yeah, if somebody's that we, say if we, get, Tevin Jenkins, re-sign him and we get a guard in the draft and hopefully that rookie beats him out, then yeah, maybe I would. But for starting, I don't think we keep him. I think the only guys that we keep on here, I say Shelton, Pryor, and well, obviously he's out for the year. Braxton Jones. I think Kramer is gone. Borum. That's a tough call.
See, from this graphic on the screen, I think Shelton you keep if you can't get Dahlman. If you get Dahlman, you don't re-sign Shelton. Because these are the 5 that are free agents. So of the 10, we have 10 offensive linemen on the active roster. These 5 are free agents. The rest are under contract, be it a rookie or otherwise. Okay.
From this list would be Shelton and Pryor.
So I agree with you on Shelton and Pryor. With Shelton, I have a caveat though: is if you can get the kid from Atlanta, who would technically by grading be an upgrade, maybe that's why you wouldn't sign Shelton, or you have both. I don't know if we could do that. Pryor, I think at right guard, he's been good.
Mm-hmm.
He's been really good at right guard.
Yep.
Left guard, he played pretty good at left guard too, but when he's played tackle, that's when he's had his problems. But the fact that he could play tackle for a spot start was okay, and he didn't do terribly. He didn't do great, but he didn't do terribly. Tevin Jenkins, I would re-sign if I. The thing about Tevin, let me take the graphic down. The thing about Tevin, why I'd re-sign him, Woody, is because I don't think he's going to be expensive. I think he's very realistic in what his value is, and we heard it at camp when they asked him about his contract, and he said, "I need to stay healthy." He was very aware of his health concerns.
No shit, he's smart too,
and he's smart, and I think and when he's in, like we both said, he's great. PFF, he's in the top. Everyone of the prior between our normal starting tackles, Shelton, Tevin, and Pryor, all of them right within the top 20 at their position, right? In the league. That's good. Because and it's not like there's just 32 ratings. It's like they're like for the guards, there's 70 guards rated, and they're both in the top 20. At tackle, there's over 70 tackles. Both are in the top 20. At center, I think there was like 38 or 40 that are ranked, and Shelton has been around 12, pretty static all year. So Tevin, I'd re-sign. I think he'd sign for 3 to 4 mil, which is cheap for a backup in this league, who has starting capabilities. And then I think we're drafting probably a left tackle, unfortunately, because Kieran won't be ready. And he's going to develop. He's not. He's good at develop. I mean, rookie man. He's going to develop. Third round rookie. He's going to develop. He's not ready yet. But maybe we spend a second rounder on a left tackle that can at least start until we get our guy back. And then I don't want to kind of have to waste Pryor at the right guard all season. So I want to draft the best guard, a guy who can play right or left guard. And this way I can play Tevin, and when Tevin eventually gets hurt, I can just plug Pryor in.
So we had two rookies making some bold statements this year. Caleb Williams calling the punter up and saying, you won't be punting a lot this year.
Yeah.
And our smartest guy in the offensive line, Mr. Yale, Karan, says, hey, don't worry, Caleb. I got your back. Boom, fumble. So put your money where your mouth is, but I know they're rookies.
Yeah, I think Karan will take 2 or 3 years, and he'll develop, and he'll eventually be a guy. He could potentially be a guy that, like, okay, he's our everyday starter, and that's going to take time. But the free agent market for O-line in general for guys under 30 is not that deep.
Mm-mm.
We're probably going to make more money signing an edge rusher in free agency under 30 than we are O-line.
Do you have a list of the free agent edge rushers?
I don't, but Young is on that list. I know that. I haven't started making the list yet for the show until the season, and I've been looking. I just haven't thought about, I should make a list because I'm not that smart. But I know Young is on the list. Really, the list isn't that deep either. I think it's there. I'm hoping it gets better because there might be some cap casualties, so maybe we'll get lucky with a cap casualty as well. But for what we need specifically at O-line and D-line, both are pretty thin. This from what I've seen so far for unrestricted free agents. There's some UDFAs out there, but now we're giving up compensation picks and all that.
Well, I have a bunch of them here. Wow.
Under 30?
Not under 30. I mean, some right at 30.
Like one of the bigger ones that's going to be out there is Josh Sweat from Philadelphia.
Yep. He's 27. Chase Young is 25.
Yep. So Chase Young, I think we might be able to get. I think Sweat's going to get re-signed in Philly. They're not going to let him walk because they've got a big contract retiring. They can just swap money. So I don't think I knew Sweat was on the list. I would love to have Sweat. I don't think it's going to happen. Who else you got there?
Well, Dante Fowler Jr. He's right at 30. He's having a hell of a year.
Yeah.
Let's see. Under 30. Yeah, not a lot.
No, Khalil Mack will hit free agency possibly if the Chargers let him get that far. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Judon, I don't know if I don't know if he's under contract or Reddick is a free agent. But
How about bringing Gibson back? He's 27.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against it. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, there can be some help there, but we've got basically 102. We'll call it 102. Could be as much as 112. We get a $30 million bump in the cap this year. But I just calling it $20 million because that's what it was for the 2 years prior. So let's say we got 102. We've got like 31 or 32 guys under contract. We got 7 draft picks. So we got about 14 players that we need to either re-sign or sign as free agents. So there's more than enough money to pay Keenan Allen and bring him back. There's more than enough money to bring back the guys we already spoke of on the O-line, and to maybe go out and try to get better backups, and to sign a guy like Chase Young. We have the money, and that's the other reason why the head coaching job in Chicago is so appealing. We've got $100 million or so, but let's say you take the 7 draft picks out, and you take out a handful of guys we're going to resign. Let's say you call that $25 million of it. You're still looking at $60 to $70 million probably minimum that they can go spend on new free agent players to this team. What incoming head coach doesn't like that? Plus having the draft picks that we have. Plus having Caleb and Rome and DJ and Cole Kmet and a good running back room. And even with as bad as this team's been, still having a top 15 defense.
Yeah, I hear you. But we're just give our opinions, so we're usually wrong.
We don't have an opinion anyway.
No, not at all.
Well, let me throw this one up. This is interesting because Bears fans like to get on him. He's close to another 1,000-yard season. Who knew? Even as bad as the year has been, he's close to a 1,000-yard season. Another one, he's close to 1,000 rushing yard season is DeAndre Swift. Both those guys could hit those marks this weekend.
I say Moore might get it before Swift.
Yeah, I agree. And Bears rookie receiving records. Ditka's record just got broke by Brock Bowers, by the way, but Ditka did it in 14 games. Bowers took 16. But there's Rome, right there in the list, fourth in the list right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of yards, but low touchdowns. But it is what it is.
Well, he's splitting those with Keenan and
right, yeah.
So I mean, not bad. Look at when you think statistically speaking, even Caleb's numbers. He's fifth all time on single season passing yards for the Bears. Cutler owned five of the top six or something like that. Now he only owns four. Caleb had a good year statistically speaking. A lot of guys on this team had a good year statistically speaking, but the record just doesn't reflect it.
Nope. That means they're not playing as a team. So that could be coaching.
Yeah, I think we're looking at coaching. Let me see what else Mike had here. We got a few minutes left. What's this one? Rookie passing yards. There's Caleb third.
Wow.
Then we look at rookie rushing yard leaders. Caleb's fourth.
Jaden second. Yep.
Bucky Irving, though. Jesus.
Yeah. I had White on my fantasy, but Irving, holy shit. Yeah. Even Drake May is up with Caleb, and that's almost up there.
Yeah. And then rookie receiving leaders. Well, look at Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, I had Brock Bowers as my rookie of the year.
Yeah, I think he's rookie. I think it's him or Brian Thomas or Bucky Irving. It's one of the three.
Yeah.
But Rome, look at good, not a bad rookie year.
No.
So
good stats, but got to play as a team.
Yeah, well, the Bears find new and interesting ways to lose.
Yep.
Bad play clock management. Some just
can't win a close game. Can't stop 3rd and 10 on defense.
3rd and 3 we'll stop all day.
Yeah,
3rd and long we have a problem with.
Yeah.
That's coaching.
Come on, Washington, man. Stop Washington. Stop doing that fucking cover 2 shit. Tampa. Oh my God.
He does that prevent thing, and here's the thing.
Yeah.
There's a saying that all its fans say: the prevent defense just prevents you from winning.
True.
Why do they keep doing it?
Well.
So, any predictions for Sunday?
Yeah, we're gonna get. I'm getting this Lance Briggs and the year of coffee. I don't know. We won't know. I'll give my prediction Sunday because I won't know who's playing in Green Bay.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking LaFleur is a hell of a coach. He wants to play hard every game, just like Campbell. I think they're gonna handle us pretty well. Josh Jacobs, our rush defense is shit, and I think Green Bay's gonna handle us.
That reminds me, for those on the Facebook pages, and if you're not, please go find Mike the Bear Fan, the Facebook page. on Sunday there will be a score prediction post. If you
Mhm.
get the score correctly, you will win basically 12 free bags of Bear 6 actual coffee, so a year supply of coffee from us here at House Hall Report. If no one gets, and on top of that, you'll win a signed, I think it's a 8 by 10 Lance Briggs
Mm.
photo. If no one gets the score correct, I mean, we're talking you have to nail it, right? No off by a point. Then if no one gets it correct, the closest person to the actual score will win the Lance Briggs signed photo. So that's on the Mike the Bear fan page on Facebook. The post should go up right as we go on air at about 11 a.m. Central for pregame because the game's at noon, and it will stop at kickoff. Entries will cease. But you can win you a free year supply basically of Bear 6 actual coffee, um, which I'm about ready to order me another bag actually because I just ran out. I'm on Task Force Sierra right now. I got a big batch of Task Force whiskey iced coffee I just made.
Yeah, Joe didn't like that one.
I do and I don't, but I finished out the bag by making an ice brew with it, and it's a pretty good ice brew. So I
my,
did it. I
my
did it full
yeah,
through.
my mother-in-law likes well, if they have the dark roast.
Yeah, they do.
That's the only coffee she drinks. So yeah, he roasts his own beans. And Steve, hope your new year was good. Thank you for all you do.
Yeah, definitely, Steve. Yeah, he's coming out with some more coffees, some different roasts.
And to anybody that's listening, because we don't know, we see 122 in here, but can't comment. Apologize about that.
Yep.
If you order the coffee within minutes, not hours, not days, minutes, Steven will call you up to verify it. And it's awesome. Awesome that he does that.
Yeah, his customer service is ridiculous. Plus, he's got new mugs on the way. He's got other merch. It's a veteran-owned roastery, small veteran-owned roastery. I've known him for a couple years now. Like me, retired Army, but he roasts a great coffee bean. And then also, um, if you are sick of paying $100 a month or $100 a month plus for your Direct TV, YouTube TV, whatever, you need to reach out to Woody.
Mm-hmm.
Hook you up on a good IPTV provider. I'm on it. Mike the Bear fan's on it. I've been on it now. This is year number 2 for me, and I've loved it. And I can watch it from anywhere in the world, from my phone, from my laptop, from my Fire Stick. Um, yeah, works out really good.
Yep.
And
If you have, for example, if you have 2 TVs in your house and you get 2 Fire Sticks, $30 a month for 2 devices.
I'm doing three lines. I'm doing 3 lines for $40 a month.
And
So
I'm
actually, I
doing
use
4
two
for
here.
50.
I use 2 here at home, and I give my buddy of mine
Yeah.
who I'm on his Plex server. So I gave him my 3rd line, and I'm on his
Mhm.
Plex. So it's a nice little.
Yep. Yeah, you can split them up. I have 2 here. I got 2 at my mom's. So
Yeah, my buddy's in
it's great.
Orlando. With
Just yeah, get a hold of me, private message me. Your speed of your internet, obviously. They want you at least 300 megabits per second. Some people, because with the Fire Stick plugged in, it's not all 300. It might knock it down to 100. That's what I say is really safe. I have a gig and a half. I have no problem. Everybody loves it.
And if you're on X, you can DM me, and I'll put you in contact with Woody. For those who are watching on X, at Ken the Bear fan on X, and I'll get you in touch with Woody. So that's a good way for you to watch the games during the regular season in your area. Also, if you like the NHL, NBA, MLB, cricket, Bundesliga, La Liga, English
UFC.
Premier League, US, yeah, UFC, you name it. Even cricket, guys, you can watch.
Yeah, even if you have you get pissed off on Thursday nights because the games are on Prime,
Not
you
a
don't
problem.
get it. This no problem. And you have a technical under Telegram tech support. Davion is the
Yeah, he answers quick. Every
he
time
answers quick,
I've
and he
asked
fixes.
that
Yeah,
dude,
he fixes the problem quick. So
quick.
it's all credible. It's
Yeah.
awesome. Had it for
So,
7 years.
and some stuff for you guys for getting ready for next season as we get this uh, coaching search in full throttle. Well, it's probably already in throttle, but definitely Black Monday might shake it up a little bit. Do you think what coach do you think are going to get fired that no one's talking about or is on the bubble right now?
Oh, geez. Uh, I said a couple weeks ago, Doug Peterson.
Yep, I agree
Um,
with that one.
yeah, Antonio Pierce at Las Vegas.
Yeah, that could be a possibility, especially when they asked about the draft pick, and he said, and I quote, "We don't give a fuck about a draft pick. We just want to win games."
Okay,
That was
so
a very
that's
Raider answer of him.
yeah. But I really, I mean, we have 5 minutes. Those will probably be, my my two. But I've said him before is the Doug Peterson, um, stuff like that. So I mean, I can't see anything else.
On Black Monday, Stefanski possibly. And it's not because he's not a good coach; it's because the GM trying to save his own ass. The GM has
Right.
been the one who's screwed up that team, but he ain't going to fire himself. So if he's not fired himself, he's going to blame it on Stefanski and probably give him the axe. And then the guy in Cincy, if they don't make the playoffs, I could see that as outside chance of happening because of the way they started. Um, and I'll go with McDaniels in Tampa in
I
Miami because the playoffs were so disappointing last year, and this year's team missing the playoffs was another huge disappointment in Miami.
Maybe Mayo, New England, if I had to just pick out of the blue, maybe. But there's going
And
to be a lot of them.
the dude in Carolina, but the only way I see the dude in Carolina, I can't remember his name right now.
If Ben Johnson wants to go back home,
Yeah, if Ben Johnson wants to go to Carolina, I think they would fire that coach in a minute and
Mhm.
bring and name Ben Johnson their head coach.
Yep, that's what
So,
that's I thought his landing spot would be.
yeah. And Ben Johnson, for all the Bears fans who've been screaming at the top of their lungs, we want Ben. Well, Nola's screaming the same thing, so we have some competition.
Mm.
And I don't even know if he's the right fit for Chicago, to be honest. I mean, I'm not against the Pete Carroll idea. Joe had a good idea with that. I mean, he's not wrong. But my concern is like yours, his age. He doesn't
Yep.
look 72. He looks
No.
50. I mean, he looks younger than maybe he looks more 60, but he looks he looks younger than Fangio. I mean, go
And
figure.
just think, Virginia McCaskey's 30 years older than he is,
Yeah,
or 28. She's 101. So
yeah.
who knows? They might do that.
And
Keep
then
it old.
and the other thing I want the Bears to get wrapped up this offseason, can we please break ground on a stadium this summer, please? Like by the spring, I want us to be breaking ground finally on a stadium. Because remember, we thought we'd start the season in 25 or 26 possibly in
Yeah,
a new stadium. Now it's be what, 27, 28?
when
Maybe.
I talked to that guy at my work, he said it's 27, 28. It'll be done.
So, let's get a final determination made because here's what's going to happen. We only got about a minute and a half, but here's one thing that worries me. If Virginia dies tomorrow, the Bears get sold. Not because the McCaskies want to sell them, but because of an inheritance tax on that team is so heavy, they're going to have to sell at least part of the team just in order to pay the taxes on inheriting the team. In a way, it's better if it happens before the stadium because they're worth about half as much. They're going to about double their value of that team once the stadium is done, especially if it's in Arlington and they own all of it. But that's one thing we can talk about more in the summer is the status of this team and if they may have to sell part of it if Virginia passes away. Because I mean, she's not going to live forever. She's not a Highlander, is she?
No, she's not
She could
immortal.
be the one.
Right. So
Yeah, but hey, well, thank everyone for joining. Sorry about the comments. Restream. I know we moved to them at one point this year. There are some things about Restream we really like, but having the comments not work today is something we really don't like. So I know you guys were trying to make comments. We missed seeing them tonight. Sorry about that. Ken and Ken will be on in the morning tomorrow. We will be on at Halas Hall, of course, Sunday for our final pregame show of the year at 11 a.m. Central, noon on East. We will also be on the Sunday show in the off season. The schedule will not change every Wednesday and Sunday. Ken and Ken will be in the morning, Monday through Friday, the same as always, at 10 Central. Open mic night on Saturday night. Red Zone Rant on Sunday morning. So please, come back and join us. Woody and I, though, thank you for joining two guys who don't have any opinion on anything
Fuck it.
whatsoever. None. And
Nope.
we'll see you guys Sunday morning. Thanks, guys.
Bear down.